Okay, here's your review from scratch. Number one, if TU and VW are parallel and R is a transversal, if the measure of angle 3 is 9x minus 14 and the measure of angle 5 is 7x plus 22, what is the measure of angle 1? Notice I put one arc mark on 1, 3, and 5. Those are all congruent angles, as well as 7. So with those two being congruent, they are on the inside. So they are alternate interior because they're on opposite sides of the transversal, making those congruent. So when I set up my equation, I could set it up as 7x plus 22 is equal to 9x minus 14. Pause the video if you need to solve it. Okay, I'm going to solve it in 2 steps. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 7x on both sides. That'll leave me with 22 is equal to 2x minus 14. And the very last step is to, well, no, not last. It's going to be 3 steps. Add 14 on both sides. You're going to have 36 is equal to 2x. And then the very last step is to divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be 18. Okay, now we're not finished. That's just the value for x. When I need to figure out what the measure of angle 1 is, I need to substitute in 18 where there's an x. So I'm going to write it over here. Angle 1 is going to be 7x plus 22 is going to have the same value. So angle 1, to figure out what that angle is 7 times 18 plus 22. So all I did was multiply 7 times 18. I got 126 plus 22. So angle 1 is going to be 148 degrees. So angle 1 is 148 degrees. That's our final answer, as well as angle 3, 5, and 7. Final answer. Okay. Number 2, in the diagram below, lines A and M are parallel and are cut by a transversal. Which type of angles are not congruent? Give an example of each. So when I see not congruent, the first thing I thought about is which angles are supplementary. And supplementary just means angles that equal 180 degrees. So with that being said, then the angles should be the ones that are either linear pairs, meaning 2 angles sitting on a line. So an example would be angle 1 and angle 2. They're sitting on a line, so those are supplementary. Angle 2 and angle 4 are on a line, so those are also supplementary. And then another pair of, well, there's more. There's about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 pairs of linear angles. I'm not going to write them all because the video will be too long. The other one would be our same side interior angles, which are 4 and 6 and 3 and 5. Angle 4 and angle 6 equals 180. Angle 3 and angle 5 equals 180. And then we have, and it didn't come up that much, but there's same side exterior as well. Whoops. And so angle 1 and angle 7 are 180, and angle 2 and angle 8 are 180 degrees. And that's it. Okay, number 3 is the bell ringer from today. A and B are parallel lines, so they're going in the same direction. What is the measure of angle PQR? So in the end, we need to know what that angle is. So that should let you know that you're going to have to substitute in whatever the value for X that you get. So these 2 angles right now, they're located on the exterior, on the outside of the 2 parallel lines. And because they are on alternate sides of the transversal, they are alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior, and those should be congruent. And because those 2 angles are congruent, then the measures 5x plus 15 and 6x minus 5 can be set equal to each other to figure out what x equals. So my steps to solve for x is to subtract 5x on both sides. And so that would leave me with 15 equals 1x minus 5. And then from there, we can add 5 on both sides. So I ran out of space there. 1x equals 20. And so to find angle PQR, 1x equals 20 is the same as x equals 20. So I'll plug it in here. So my angle is going to be 6x minus 5. But x, we just found out, is 20. So 6 times 20 minus 5. My angle is 115 degrees. Okay, coincidentally, the angle at the top is also 115 degrees since they are alternate exterior angles. And just in case if you needed to know the other angle, which is here, they don't have a point there. I'll put an S there. So PQS, that one, we could just do 180 minus 115. Put it where you can see it. I'm going to set up 180 minus 115. So that should be 65. So that angle would be 65 degrees. Just in case, if you needed to know. But 115 is our final answer. I don't want to make it too long. So number 4 says identify the type of angles formed by intersection of parallel lines and a transversal that are supplementary. So for me, I already answered that here in number 2. So linear pairs, same side interior, same side exterior, or they may call them consecutive. Exterior and consecutive interior. Okay. Number 5, identify the types of angles formed by intersection of parallel lines and transversal that are congruent. Your congruent angles would be, let's make one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so angle 1 is congruent to angle 4 because in this case they are vertical. Okay, angle 4 is congruent to angle 5 here because they are alternate interior angles. Angle 5 and 8 are also congruent because they are vertical. Angle 5, angle 8, vertical. And then to put it all together, 1 and 8 are alternate exterior. I'll put it over here. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 8 because they are alternate exterior. And then I'm missing one. 4 and 8. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 8 as well because they are corresponding. And that's your types of angles that are congruent when you got parallel lines. Okay. Number 6, use the following information to answer. In the figure below, M and N are parallel. And, oh, I noticed this error earlier. But AD, that should say AD is parallel to BC. And then we can make everything else work. So angle 1, which is here, is 117 degrees. Find the measure of all the other angles. So 1 and 3 are congruent because they are alternate interior angles. And then if I turn the paper sideways, angle 3 and angle 7 are congruent because they're correspondent. They're in the same spot. And then angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent because they're correspondent as well. But also, these are alternate interior angles. So 1, 3, 5, 7 are all 117 degrees. And so all the other angles, which are acute, is going to be the difference between 180 and 117. So I got 63. So every other angle is 63 degrees. Okay? All right. Number 7, Lone Oak Street and Nader Street are parallel to each other, and Sear Street and Center Street are parallel. What's the measure of KHL? KHL as this angle in here. And I believe that there was a typo because I shifted the paper around to make sure that it could be 2 sheets. So what I'm thinking happened is that these numbers was on top of those numbers, and same there. So if this is my angle here and it's 31 degrees, then KHL is this angle in here. Now, even though it's all a whole bunch of stuff about parallel lines, if this angle is 31 degrees, then that angle is 31 degrees. So my angle, the measure for angle KHL is 31 degrees. Done. Okay. Number 8. Use the following information to answer 9 and 10. I don't know. Okay. TU and VW are parallel and R is a transversal. So we can put a little arrow on there. That way we know they parallel. Identify the type of angles formed. 1 and 3, they are congruent. Why? Because they are vertical. Okay. And 5 and 8 are not congruent. They are a linear pair. And a linear pair equals 180. Everybody, that was Johnny. Okay, 2 and 8. 2 and 8 are alternate, I can't spell, exterior angles, meaning they're congruent. And then 2 and 6. 2 and 6. They start with a C and they're congruent. Corresponding angles. 4 and 5 are supplementary, and they are 4 and 5 are same side, interior, or just consecutive. Interior. And 2 and 6 we already answered up there. Not doing it twice. 4 and 6 alternate thought you could see. My bad. Alternate interior angles. So they are congruent. All right. That's your whole review. Good luck studying. See you tomorrow.